Welcome to the Rock is George podcast. I'm your host, George Dionne, and this is episode 135. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to hit like, follow, or subscribe on the platform you're listening to us on. You can also check out my work at theloudest.com on the planet, knac.com, for exclusive interviews, live show coverage, and more. My guests for this episode are the husband and wife tandem of Janet Gardner and Justin James. Janet, of course, is the former front woman for 80s hard rock act Vixen. Justin James is a guitarist by trade that's been a touring guitarist, studio guitarist, and worked with acts such as Tyketto, Stained, and more. They recently released their fourth studio album together called No Strings, under the moniker Gardner James. It's being released through Pavement Entertainment in North America and Frontiers Music everywhere else. So here's Janet and Justin to tell you more about it. If I knew absolutely nothing about Gardner James, how would you describe the music to me?
Let's see.
Go for it, honey.
Oh boy. Wow.
I'm already deferring to you.
I can't believe nobody's ever asked that question before. Holy cow. I would say energetic, real, organic.
Melodic.
Yeah, melodic and heavy at times.
I'll have to agree with that assessment. And your latest album, No Strings, came out on June 9th through Pavement Entertainment and Frontiers Music Overseas. Your last album was Synergy in 2020. This current album is getting rave reviews across the globe. You guys must be pretty excited about that.
Oh my God. So excited. I always joke around like the day before the album comes out, you start building that anxiety. And then the day of, and I don't care what anybody says, you look at what people are saying because you're hoping people get it and, understand what you were shooting for. And with this album, we were just overwhelmed the first week it was released. And yeah, we are super, super happy and thrilled with the reaction we're getting so far.
Yeah, it's nerve-wracking because, you lose your objectivity at some point along in the process. You get to the point where it's like, I don't know if this is good or not anymore. You just get so inside it. You've heard it so many times that you don't know. In fact, we had no idea.
We didn't. We spent so much time in this album that these songs were all we heard for months. I mean, we didn't even listen to outside artists or the normal bands we like and enjoy and listen to. So we definitely, after a while, we're starting to go crazy and go, is this even good?
Yeah, it's like, I can't tell if it sounds good anymore or what.
And the internet can be a cruel place when it comes to criticism, of course.
Yes.
Well, you always have to, mentally prepare yourself for the troll army to come out. But, that's just the way it is. And it's better to have the troll army attack you than have nothing happen. No one paying attention. So you got to take the bad with the good.
Janet's always good at looking at the glass half full.
Yeah, well,
Now, how does the songwriting dynamic work when you guys come to penning an album like this? All right, Justin, are you more of the music guy and Janet the lyrics, or do you split everything?
It's both of us, I would say. Most of the time it starts with a little riff idea or something that I might come up with. And then Janet, if she likes it, will jump in and then add her touches to the music end of it. And then lyric-wise, 90% of that is Janet. And if she gets stumped, then I'll jump in and lend a hand.
No, I wouldn't say 90%, but, he's cracking the whip at me. Come on, where are those lyrics? I'm like, go ahead. Here's a paper. Here's a pen. Have at it.
Well, it's always, especially with lyrics, and I try to tell her that, I could write words, but she's singing the words and she delivers. So it's got to be something she believes in. So I feel that it's best for her to come up with the majority, or at least the foundation of it. And then I can jump in and help.
Well, there definitely is, I have to feel the rhythm of how the melody works and stuff. So the words have to have a certain feel. So I definitely have to do sort of the final, how are these going to fit into the, the music and the melody.
Well, let's talk about a couple of the songs that you have out now as promotional singles. Let's talk a little bit about the inspiration behind I'm Living Free.
Well, I think, over the years, I look back on my life and I think of times where, I was stuck in a bad situation, no matter what it was, a job or a relationship or anything, where you get that trapped, closed in feeling and it's kind of toxic and you should get out, but you're scared or you're, fear of missing out on something, or you think you can change something that really can't be changed. And I look back and very rarely, if ever, do I look back and go, man, I should have stayed in that crappy situation I was in. Never. It's always like, I should have gotten out faster. I should have, moved on and fixed that. And that's kind of what it's about. If you're feeling that way, set yourself free, because it's liberating, no matter what it is that's holding you back or keeping you in a box. Get rid of it.
One of the songs I enjoyed that's out as a single is 85. I like the lyrics on that. I mean, basically, it's your early days coming up in the music business, Janet, and it was you're broke, but you didn't care because you were doing what you loved.
Exactly. That was such a good time back then because, we didn't care. There were no responsibilities. It's like, as long as we, have a place to sleep and, can scrape together enough money to, chip in on some food and make some ramen noodles with potatoes and carrots. That's all we cared about was, the music. It's all that mattered. And it was fun, good, innocent times too. It was long before any of us got jaded by music business crap and, all that stuff. It was therapeutic and fun to work on that song. Justin came up with a great musical mood. And that's where it came from, really was. I started picturing that.
Justin, what were you doing in 1985?
Woo!
I was going to my first full day of school. No, I'm a little younger. I mean, it was funny. When we were almost done with the album, we were trying to come up with a name for the album. We knew that 85 was going to be one of our picks for a single right out of the gate. So Janet had the idea, well, maybe we should call the album 85. And I said, well, what the heck are we going to do? Have a picture of me getting on the school bus with my lunchbox on the cover? No, that won't work. No, but 85 was special for me too, because that was the year that I look back, and I mean, I could be off a year or two, but that was when I really, really got into music. I got one of my first albums, which was Kiss Asylum, and that changed everything for me. And from that point forward, that whole genre of music just engulfed me. And almost ever since then, I would say that's probably 90% of the music I listen to today. I try to venture out into different styles and different kinds of music, but I can't do it. It's the 80s were it for me. It's when grunge came, it was like a punch in the gut. So I love that I, am fortunate enough to be married to Janet, but to be able to make music with her and be able to write guitar ideas or music ideas and have this voice come over and lay something over it. Very lucky.
Let's talk about the third single, Don't Turn Me Away, if there's an inspiration behind that song.
It was a unique song. I remember being up really late at night. I was struggling to go to sleep, and I just wanted to do something different, and I picked up the acoustic, and I have no idea where that melody came from, but I knew I was onto something. And when Janet got up the next day, I couldn't wait to show her. And it just kind of blossomed from there. And to me, that's one of my favorite songs on the album. I don't know what it is. It's kind of it's an eerie, it's a power ballad rock song, but it's got a little eerie overtone to it at moments that just really hit me.
And then when that chorus hits, that
it's a real builder of a song. It's just the dynamics in that. And once that chorus hit, it hits you, and love it.
Are you planning a fourth single from the album?
There definitely will be one, but we don't know what it is yet. We might have to get some opinions on that. We'll definitely do another video and another single, but we don't know what it is yet. Shh. Okay.
We've got a good idea.
Rock music is so secretive. I get it. You guys, this is your fourth album for Pavement Entertainment. All four albums have been on the label. How did you end up signing with them for the North American releases?
That was your doing.
Yeah, we finished, we weren't planning to do anything. And all of a sudden we had 10 or 11 songs that we were happy with. It's like, we have an album here. What do we do? What do we do with it now? So I reached out to, a few people here and there, not that many. And we looked at Pavement's roster and we thought, God, this would probably be kind of a cool place for us. It wouldn't really pigeonhole us into 80s stuff because they have a really diverse roster. A lot of newer bands, younger bands from every decade.
Yeah.
So, and we just like the quality of their roster. So it was like, I'm going to just call them. So I did. I called them on the number that was on the internet. I didn't know anybody. And I just, explained who I was. And I got a call back and said, well, send us some stuff. So we sent them a demo and a link to like a sort of a compilation.
It was like a little teaser trailer that we put together of like 3 or 4 songs.
And we sent them a link to that. And we got a call soon after that saying, yeah, let's do this. Let's put this thing out. So we were really excited about that. And they were great.
Yeah.
They were very supportive. They had very little, critiquing of the music or a little bit about the packaging, but not very much. They kind of let us be us. And that's what you want. That's what you need. You need somebody who lets you be an artist.
Now, the project originally started out as a Janet Gardner solo album, and now it's Garner James. Was that always the way it was going to be? Because Janet has the name recognition in the industry, and that's understandable in the beginning. And now you're here as Gardner James.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't know what to do. We thought we went over some band names. Maybe we should be a band. And it's like, it's kind of a weird thing when we're like a husband and wife duo. What do you call yourself? What do you do? Because it's just a little different than what people are used to, other than the obvious Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo. And she was always Pat Benatar, even though he was with her all the way. And now I think live, they call themselves, they use his name too, right?
Yeah.
I think they do. So he definitely earned it. And he earned it from out of the gate. But we just thought it would be better to sort of focus on, like you said, the name recognition. And then after a couple of albums of that, it was kind of like, well, this is not, I'm not a solo artist. We are a duo. That's the reality of it. So let's just call it that. Call it what it really is. Just in case anyone's wondering, it was my idea.
Okay.
Right?
Right. No, it was weird because, when we first, from my perspective of the whole thing, when we were doing the first album, Janet had said at one point, could we call it my solo album? And, she's been doing this a lot longer than I have. She earned it. That was the way I saw it, that she deserved it. She deserved to have, her own solo album. But yeah, I mean, as time went on, it was kind of like, well, all right, well, maybe we should start incorporating both of us. But it was kind of a double-edged sword because I wanted it. But then there was another part of me that was like, well, no, it's kind of silly to change it now, but I'm glad we did.
Yeah. And there were people that were like, okay, it's your solo album, but why is he in the picture on the album and stuff? It's like, well, he belongs there. That's why he's there. But, I guess it made sense that it just said Janet Gardner and there was 2 people there. So I think it all makes good sense now.
You guys have some summer live shows lined up for this year, and I understand you're doing some acoustic shows and some electric shows. So who's in your electric backing band?
A longtime friend of mine, Richie Rivera, is our drummer. I played with him in a band previously a long time ago when we were first putting this together. He was one of the first people that I thought of for the live show to bring him out. Great guy, a monster drummer. And then
and a great performer.
Yeah, great. Always smiling.
He's so fun to be on stage with.
You'd think he's a Muppet and somebody had their hand up his back making him smile all the time. But and then our bass player, Anthony, we had met out in New Jersey. He owned or still does own, a place called All Star Music Empire, which is it's kind of like a school of rock. It's where, people go to learn how to play an instrument, but they also have a really killer stage set up there too. And he's a monster guitar player, but somehow we convinced him to play bass for us live, which he just knocks out of the park, and he's got a great voice. So it really helps with the backups.
Yeah, he's super talented.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're just great guys. We love hanging out with them, being on stage with them and being off stage with them. They're just a pleasure and super talented. We're so lucky to have them.
Yeah, and we haven't, because we've been doing acoustic stuff the last couple months. We haven't seen them in quite a while, but we have our first show after this album with them this Saturday. So we're going to see them in a couple of days, and we are thrilled.
Awesome. Actually, this Saturday you're opening for Queensryche, right?
Yeah, we're opening for Queensryche at the venue that Janet and I first met. So it's even another layer of specialness there. So we're beyond thrilled for this weekend.
Yeah, and Queensryche is amazing.
So I had the question coming up anyway. So you met at this venue. What were the circumstances under your meeting?
Nerves, a lot of nerves. Janet was playing with Vixen, and they were opening for Lita Ford. And I'm friends with Lita's old tour manager. So I went to see him, and I was hanging out backstage with him, and I saw Janet walk past, and I felt my jaw just hit the ground. And so we met and exchanged very few words. There was definitely a spark there, but it was kind of like being a kid and freshman year of high school, where you saw the hot chick that you really liked, but you couldn't say anything, and you just stared at your feet the whole time. So, lucky for me, our paths crossed again about a year later, and then sparks started to fly even more, and we stayed in touch, and before I knew it, we were married.
There was a little time in there, but but yeah, it was pretty fast.
Nothing wrong with that.
When you know, you know.
Yep.
You two performed on the Monsters of Rock cruise recently. Was this the first time you had a chance to play the new music?
There was one other show previous, an acoustic show that we did one song from the new album prior to the Monsters of Rock cruise,
and we butchered it. I have to say, it did not go well. I mean, people seem to like it, but how you're your worst critic. And I just, after we played it, I was like, oh my God, that was not what I had in mind.
She's clearly not remembering it right. It was great. I thought it came off really good.
Well, we played it again now. Well, originally you were playing guitar and I was playing tambourine.
Oh, right.
We reworked it, so we're both playing guitar, and it's a lot better now.
Yeah,
a lot better now. So we worked that out after the first show. But that's what part of acoustic stuff is things really can evolve, because it's so stripped down that any changes you make to it make a big difference.
Well, and you don't have any loud amps or anything to hide behind, so you're really putting yourself out there. And so, so we've only been able to 2 acoustic shows played a new song. So this weekend, we finally get to bring out the electrics and really hit them hard with it. So we are thrilled for that.
Yeah.
Janet, when you go on something like the Monsters of Rock cruise, is it like 1985 rock star reunion?
Well, I mean, it is, people who are obviously big fans of the genre. So yeah, it's interesting. We kind of go about our lives. We're pretty low key. So yeah, it's weird to have to kind of sneak around and sneak onto the elevator and, sneak over here. And because once something starts, we went to there's like a band, an artist only dinner area. So you can go there and just, have a peaceful dinner. And it wasn't open or something. So we went to like the main buffet. It was called the Windjammer or something. And all it takes is one person to go, "Hey, can I get a picture with you?" And then it's like this massive ocean wave. And it's like, oh no, oh no, oh no, we gotta go. But it's fun because, we don't normally deal with that. So it's nice and we love it. And we love that the fans are so crazy for all these bands. It's a lot of fun.
Justin, do you get confused with the Justin James that sang California back in 2007 that was on the TV show Laguna Beach in the Hills?
You know what? This is going to sound really bad, but I don't even know who that is. But so I guess no, but
No, it's got to be that one on Spotify.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah. Now,
guy.
ever since we started,
is he Canadian? Canadian?
Yeah, he's Canadian. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we do know.
Ever since we started going by both of our names, like on Spotify and stuff, it'll tag both of us on music. And I was wondering, like, one time I went, and I just clicked on myself, and I'm like, well, where are all these songs coming? This isn't me. But sounds like he was pretty successful with it. So very cool.
You got to optimize your search engine so you get above him.
Yes,
absolutely.
There you go.
Yeah, this is the real Justin James.
Going back to 85 and 1985, I want to go back one more year. Janet, I didn't realize this. I found it in my research that pre-Vixen's first album, you guys were in a movie called Hardbodies. And it was one of those, I guess we'd call it a B movie today, but it's actually a cult classic. How did you end up getting involved in that movie?
I don't even remember exactly how it came about. Somebody knew somebody who wanted us to do this movie. And of course, there was money on the table and we needed it at that time. So we agreed to do it and we had no idea what it was, or we just kind of knew we were a band playing a band called, Diaper Rash or whatever it was. And it ended up being a lot of fun. It was a lot of hurry up and wait, waiting to go shoot your scenes and waiting to, do what you're supposed to do. But it was fun. And, we hung out with the actors and a lot of them loved music. And so we had acoustic guitars and we were singing Beatles songs and just having a great time, wasting time in between shooting. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Justin, do you work on any other projects musically, either up front or behind the scenes, or is it just with Janet now?
I've done a couple things behind the scenes for a couple other artists that have asked me to help write a song for them and do a mix or produce something for them. But the majority, this is my focus. This is my comfort zone and what I love to do. And I love that it's our thing and, it's kind of our creation and baby. Whereas, doing that, I love doing that too. It's fun, but it's also somebody else's idea or some of it has been different genres of music that, aren't my forte, but it's still fun to venture out and, try something new and come up with different ideas.
Yeah, I don't allow it. I don't allow him to do anything but work on our stuff.
No, that's not true. She's great with it. And what's cool is she's a great, ear to bounce that stuff off of that I'm trying to do. Is this any good? Is this, do you think, so-and-so is going to like this? And so, yeah. But yeah, no, this is my priority, hands down. I mean, I don't mind doing that stuff every now and then, but this is where my heart is.
Janet, you did a guest spot on Jim Peterick's last world stage album, Tigress, Women Who Rock the World. You sang a vocal on Lazarus Heart.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
How did that opportunity come your way?
Somebody reached out. I guess they had found my email address from.
I want to say it was Jim Peterick's manager. Didn't he reach out?
I think so. Yeah. And said, he's got this track. So I said, yeah, send it along. And the minute I heard the song, I was like, yeah, I'm in. I'll do it. What a great song that is. He's just a great writer. Such a talent.
Those are all the questions I have for you two today. The new album is No Strings. It's out now on Pavement Entertainment in North America and Frontiers Music everywhere else. Janet, Justin, I want to thank you for coming on the Rock is George podcast. I had a good time finding out more about your latest album and about the two of you.
Thank you, George. We appreciate it. Thanks for having us. This was a blast.
Just quickly before you go, doesn't that look like hats?
Oh, stuff. My brother. Yeah, the bottle is behind you. That's cool.
Whiskey fanatic and has all these different types of booze. So that just reminds me of Justin's brother. Anyway.
Well, I should meet Justin's brother because I'm into all kinds of whiskey, scotches, ryes, you name it. If it's whiskey I like it, and I like getting the stuff that's hard to get, but I always drink it.
That's like him.
Totally. You guys you could probably talk whiskey for hours.
I bet.
He tries to talk to us and we're like, yeah, okay. And he'll try to get us to, he'll tell us, what we're supposed to be smelling, and then just taste a little bit of what you're supposed to be feeling in your mouth. It's like, I don't get it. But he's into it.
What's your drink of choice then?
Oh, I'm just I like foofy drinks. I'll drink like a sea breeze once in a while, but I like sangria and
skim milk,
fruity.
Water.
Water. Come on, I'm not that boring.
She's pretty boring when it comes to drinking.
I like sweet wines. I know that's totally wrong. People are like, oh, you like Moscato? Oh, you like Riesling? Oh. And those are the ones I do like. So yeah, I'm not much of a booze person, but when I do drink something, I want to enjoy the taste of it, and I like things sweet. What can I say? That's why I married you.
I'm a craft beer fanatic. I love my IPAs first and foremost, and beautiful. I'm gonna go grab one as soon as we're done. And then I really am a fan of those bourbon barrel stouts that they
absolutely.
Those are so good. So that's my go-to.
You want to know the secret about those bourbon barrel stouts?
What's that?
I used to homebrew. They actually put bourbon in it. They don't actually sit in the barrel for that long. They throw bourbon in it, but because of the alcohol laws, they have to say it was in a barrel that contained bourbon.
See, that makes sense because that vanilla aftertaste, did you get it? There's no way that's just the barrel. There's got to be something else in there. So awesome. Good to know. Thank you.
Now we learned something today too.
And you could tell your brother that now.
Yes, I will for sure.
All right, guys. Thanks again. I really appreciate it. Once again, I want to thank Janet Gardner and Justin James of Gardner James for coming on the Rock is George podcast. Be sure to check out their latest album, No Strings, out now through Pavement Entertainment and Frontiers Music. Head over to your favorite music streaming platform. Take a listen to what's available. If you like what you hear, buy a physical copy. Support the artist. For all things Gardner James, head over to their official website, janetgardnermusic.com. I also want to thank Barbara Papa George and Pavement Entertainment for making this interview possible. You've been great. I've been George Dionne. Discover your next favorite artist on the Rock is George podcast.